I just wanted to make this video. I just think it's really hit me recently, especially with music, secular music. I'll be honest with you, I've recently, like, there was a time for like months I didn't listen to any secular music. It was strictly gospel music and just music that I feel like resonates with me the most, especially with Jesus and everything. But recently, for some reason, like, I've had one or two songs that are like Jay-Z or rap. It's just secular. And for me, it's like, if you're Christian as well, like, for example, not even just Christian, anybody, the music we listen to is so important. The things we take into our ears is so important, because when I was listening, like, when I was very strictly in that music, what they would talk about, I wouldn't replicate obviously certain things, but it would always come my way. For example, women, if they talk about women, I would want to, it naturally just happened, like, the way how they behaved, how I behaved. For example, I would treat my girl in a certain way that God wouldn't treat anybody, how Jesus would treat anybody. And that's not how I'd want to treat my wife, for example. Someone that's human, but we're objectifying them. And that's not the way how God looks at people. And God looks at us with love and joy, and we're looking at them with lustful desires, and we're doing this with them and that. And that's something that I realized, the music I was consuming, that's what I'm doing. I shouldn't be doing this. This is not biblical. This is against God and Jesus and everything he learned when it comes to lust and looking at people for who they are. And what I've realized is when rappers and any music, not just rap, when they're talking about certain things, is that what you want in your life? Is that what you really want to take into your heart? Does your heart really agree with it? For example, like, really? Like, their lifestyle, like, what are we doing here? For example, for me, I loved my drug rap songs, the drug dealers, the money. But I would never do that lifestyle. So why am I actually entertaining it and listening to it? Because it sounds fun. I'm not against it. It used to sound good to me. But when spiritually, it's just wrong. When you really take it in spiritually, these guys are talking about murder, multiple women at once, drugs, all this stuff. And what does Ephesians say? Singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs among yourselves, making music to the Lord in your hearts. And the music I'm listening, is that music to the Lord? Is it music to Jesus? Not really. So when you're listening to music, ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to God? Is this acceptable to take in? Or is it not? Just the lyrics can tell everything. These people be calling themselves the devil, and I'm like, seriously? Like, what are we doing here? So I think music choice is very important. These rappers literally say what they're like, what they're doing with their lives. And spiritually, it's very wrong. It's against it. And you're spiritually, how can you grow with that type of music? How can God work with stuff like this that we're taking in our heart? And that's something I do remind myself. And I'm not saying all secular music is wrong, but have music that glorifies Jesus. Listen to music that glorifies God, the one and only true God. This is perfect. Do you see Jesus ever listening, I don't know, to 21 Savage? Like, no. So let's rejoice Jesus in the right way. Let's listen to music that our hearts want to crave for. And let's live a life that pleases God and glorifies God. Not just musically. Worship. Our life giving to God, that is also worship. So let's do God's will. Let's follow Jesus. And in everything we do, even with things we watch, again, like, a lot of us, I have to skip a lot of these scenes in certain shows. And again, if I'm watching a certain show and I know that's going to happen, why should I watch in the first place? But hey, I know that's a debate for another day. But I think secular music, watch what you're listening to. You know, a lot of these rappers do be just saying, and musicians do be just saying what they're doing. And it's like, would you do the same thing? Probably not. So let's listen to music that glorifies God. Let's listen to music that our hearts want to hear. Are we inviting Jesus or the devil with this music? So yeah, just think about it. I've definitely realized it. I'll definitely be deleting a lot of it, a few of those songs today. Yeah, let's listen to music that glorifies Jesus. Yeah, it's just, you know, so clearly. What I've realized growing up, when I listen to music about God, I always used to feel closer to God. But when you're listening to music that is very calling themselves the devil, drugs, that's not bringing you closer to God, is it? So let's ask ourselves, does this bring us closer to God or not? And in life as well, everything has to be God oriented. Let's make God number one in music and even in the smallest things we do, because that's what God does. So I hope this video did make sense. I hope it did. And God bless you all.